What's going on, guys? I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving this past week. For today's video, I figured I would give you guys just a little tour of where I built Nova. A lot of people have asked me where I'm building it at. They asked me whether I have a shop or if I'm doing it out of a garage. And over Thanksgiving, a friend of mine told me I should do a tour of my quote-unquote shop. So that's why we're here today. As I'm sure you can tell from my backdrop, I don't have a shop. I haven't been building it out of a garage. I built my last van out of my parents' garage, and when I bought this one, I knew that wasn't going to work. So I took all my tools and I moved them into my family's barn. There haven't been any animals here for quite a while since my grandmother passed away, and the barn was kind of in disrepair. I mean, it still is, as you can tell, but I figured I would clean it out and give myself a little shop to build out this van. So I've been here for the past year, and it's been definitely a work in progress. I just deep cleaned everything because it needed it. If you call what this is deep cleaning, but it's certainly better than it was beforehand. So without further ado, I think I'll show you guys around. Disrepair. Okay, so we're gonna try this new format. Obviously I've never done this before, but I think it's probably gonna be the easiest thing to do, giving you guys this tour. Got a nice little fire going back here from some of the scrap wood that I just threw out today. But first, before we get into that, let's look at this beautiful view out here. I had some really sweet nights with some beautiful sunsets, and really just those moments that make you think, okay, this is worth it. But without further ado, let's get inside. So moving in from the front doors, this is it in all of its glory. So this is originally a horse barn. So you got our stalls kind of down here on either side, but this is the main one that I use. But before we get to that, this is kind of my little miter saw station. I've just got my table saw and my planer hanging out here. This back here, it's no man's land. That's not really part of my section. That's got my grandparents' stuff and whatnot there, but just got our plywood and stuff hanging out here. It's a random miscellaneous storage room. But I mean, all things considered, this is it. So got some nice pretty lights up here just to kind of make the vibes nice. But this is really kind of where all my work got done in here. This is my main workshop. So got all my drills and some hand tools and stuff hanging out here with my squares. But I mean, this is it. Not much for a tour. Just my workbench, trash can. This is kind of where I keep all of my electric tools. I've got some screws and stuff down here, and then just some bags down here. These are some miscellaneous tools in here I take when I go travel. I've got plumbing stuff in that one. I got a little bit more storage here, 2 electrical bags, some miscellaneous wiring and loom, and some paint stuff down there, as well as over in this corner. And then I got really just my tool chest and whatnot with some miscellaneous stuff. But I mean, you're looking at it, there's really not much room in here at all. But over the past year, I've been able to make it work. Man, we are just experimenting with all kinds of new formats, huh? Main reason today that I wanted to show you kind of my shop and everything is because I feel like for me, building these vans is kind of my creative outlet. It's my way to kind of express myself. I've always been building stuff since I was a little kid. My favorite toys were Legos, and I would just sit up in my room for hours and hours and just build stuff. Obviously, we're adults now, and I think a lot of people need that kind of way to express themselves. Some people have the gym, some people have, I don't really know what else you guys do, but this is me. This is my way of doing it. And I feel like that's very important because I think a lot of people nowadays, they get caught up in work and they lose that kind of thing. I need to not shake this. And they lose that kind of thing that they do to express themselves, to make them happy. I think being able to express yourself, whether it's in a creative way or whether it's, any other way, I think it's a very important thing. I think a lot of people nowadays, they get caught up in work, they get caught up in the motions of life, and they lose that. They lose the ability and the time to be able to express themselves. And I think nowadays a lot of people get driven into a depression because of it. A lot of people are unhappy with their lives and what they're doing. They're not being fulfilled. And my biggest thing through this journey is trying to find something that fulfills me. I was lucky enough to learn very early on in my life that what I really enjoy doing is building things. I like, taking the ideas that are in my head and then breathing them into this world. So that's what I feel like I've done with this van, with my last one and this one. And not all of it was easy. I had a lot of times where I wanted to literally burn the thing down. But I think that's kind of with anything. I think that happens no matter what you're doing. I think the main purpose of showing you guys this space that I have is to show you that you do not need a lot to start. Like I said, when I started doing this, it was in my parents' garage. I'd kind of commandeered that space from them to build out my last van, kind of in the driveway. And speaking of which, they're driving by on their brand new 4x4. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. Anyways, you don't need a lot to start. It's more important that you take what you have and work with it. I was very lucky in the fact that I grew up in this place, and this barn is not being used for anything else other than now my workshop. So I was, like I said, I was very lucky to be able to move. I was very lucky to be able to move in here when I needed it, and it worked out great for me. I have 2 stalls and a hallway, half a hallway. On my last build, I bounced back and forth between a hangar space and the garage, but this one I did fully here. I originally started outside on one of the outside stalls, actually on the other side of this wall, and then I moved in here so I could have some more indoor space because it got cold. So once I did that, I just kind of started rolling with it. I made some makeshift shelves here. I got my little tool wall over here, and it worked. Now, I will say majority of the time that I was building out here, I was setting up on my tables outside because that's where the van is. I had 2 of those little plastic folding tables that I just kept out there. And when I needed to use my planer or my little table saw, I'd take them out there, I'd set it up, and I'd take it back down. It was a lot of setup and take down, but it worked. And sometimes that's all you need. So like I said, I just wanted to kind of show you guys this small space that I have here in hopes that it can help somebody get the motivation to say, all right, well, you don't need to start big. I don't need to go out and rent out a shop for however many thousands of dollars a month. You save that money and work with what I've got. Even if it's one small garage, if it's a 1-car garage that's not being used, or, depending on what your craft is. Obviously, not all of you are building vans. Some of you might be into woodworking or any other kind of creative outlet. It can just be a bedroom or a small office space, and that's all you need to get started. Obviously, I'm not going to be building my next project here. Sadly, this farm is being sold next year. If anybody wants it, first come, first serve. But sadly, it's getting sold next year, and I am planning on moving out of here. So whatever my next project is, whether it's a van or something else that I've been thinking about for a while, it's not going to be here. But I will say this location, this place serves me beautifully. I am very grateful to have it, and I think it's really cool considering I grew up here. This place has always held a very sentimental place in my heart. My sister and I were homeschooled growing up, so a majority of the time when we were kids, we were out here playing around. Like I said, I grew up in a big horse family. My grandmother, my mother, and my sister, they all did it. My sister still trains them. So this barn has seen a lot of different uses over the years. And I think it's really cool that I'm the last one that's going to be here. It's almost like I'm able to kind of leave my mark. Everybody's gotten their purpose for it before, and I'm just really glad that now I've been able to use it, and it's helped me out. So this place has always, like I said, been very special to me, and it just makes it all that more bittersweet to see it go, knowing that it's served its purpose in the best way possible. It's been able to give me something that I would have not been able to do otherwise, because I know I wouldn't have been able to afford renting out a shop, and I may have never even done this. If I didn't have this space, I have no idea where I would have built this next van, or even if I would have, because like I said, rent's expensive, especially for a shop. So being able to be here has given me the ability to focus on the build and take my time with it and not have to worry about that next rent payment. So without this space, this build wouldn't have been what it is, and like I said, I'm so grateful for it. So yeah, I think that's the end of my rant. I hope this kind of helps somebody out there. I hope goes to show you don't need a lot to get started. You don't need a lot to pour your heart into something. The biggest thing is that you take what you can, you use what you can, and you just keep rolling with it. Even though I know it's not easy all the time, but trust me, it pays off. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a great week. This should be coming out on Thursday, so I hope you all have a good weekend. I know everybody's looking forward to it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Lewis, again for making the music for this video, and I will see you guys next week.